got to be that person. One I equated to years ago when I was in Japan. Vince McMahon's dad used to come over for a tournament all the time. He had two, singles tournament and a tag team tournament. Well, most of the time I was over there as Andre's partner in a tag, as a Masked Superstar. So Senior came over and he said, you know, Bill, we'd like to bring you into New York. I said, I'd love to. Andre talks highly of it. All he says is how great you are, and you know, you get your starting date, your end date, what you're going to make. He said, yeah. He said, I got an idea. I said, well, what is it? He said, I want to bring you in as a cowboy. I said, you want to bring me in as a cowboy? I said, I've never ridden a horse. I don't know anything about horses. First thing I think of is I'm in the garden. How many cowboys are out there? How many people have horses out there? I'm going to screw up. When did you first like me? Well, I saw you as a Masked Superstar. I said, because I am a Masked Superstar. I'm not a cowboy. I couldn't be a cowboy. I don't know anything about cowboy terms, horses, nothing. I wouldn't know a lariat from any regular rope. So you got to become that person.
And it's just like the 35 years now for us.
Yes, sir. Wednesday's our 35th anniversary.
We've been together.
That's awesome.
There's not too many teams like that anymore.
Not at all.
No. And we would have done a fan. We would love to. We got asked many times, but we never had the time to do it. And Tommy Fierro, who's going to do it for us, and we're not only doing it for the fans, we're doing it for the fans and us as well, because we're going to donate a portion of whatever they get to Tunnel for Towers and Shriners, and St. Jude's and Make-A-Wish and stuff like that. So they'll get a benefit out of it. We'll get feeling good out of it.
Do you all think, I mean, it seems to be a strained relationship. Do you think that's because of the concussion lawsuit and that sort of thing, or is it something else?
I don't know.
I don't really think so. I just think it's just not our time for them.
And you got
you know?
got Bruno, who they really had problems with.
Warrior, they
hated each other.
Yeah.
Of all guys, the guy from this area, Jeff Jarrett.
How do you put him in? You know, if he's got heat.
He held him up for all that money, right? So I think it's just, it'll probably happen.
Who would you all say is your favorite tag team to wrestle?
God, there's so many.
We were lucky. We had good teams.
Heart Foundation, Bulldogs, Strike Force, Andre Haku, Twin Towers, Brainbusters.
You know, if it'd be easier.
Say who we didn't like.
You guys
get into wrestling. Were you like? Did you grow up with it, or was it something you felt?
My grandmother was a big wrestling fan.
Mine was too.
And I grew up outside of Pittsburgh, and her favorite was Bruno Sammartino. And they used to have, it was a small town, maybe 10, 12,000 people. And they'd come to, it was Brownsville, not south of Pittsburgh. They'd come there maybe every other year and have a big wrestling match in the summer at the stadium. So we went, I went. I liked it. I liked the atmosphere and the way the guys carried themselves, you know, the good guys, the bad guys, but the athletic ability and stuff. And then my next door neighbor became the athletic commissioner of Western Pennsylvania. They had three: Western PA, Central PA, and Eastern PA. So he asked us to go to the matches. His boy, he played at Penn State, and I was in West Virginia. So we went down to the matches, and he took us back into the locker room. And the promoter at the time, who became my partner later on, Guido Mongo, said, "You guys are big guys. You ever think about getting into wrestling?" I said, "No." 6 weeks later, we're training. So I sort of just stumbled into it.
I was kind of the same way. Used to bounce at a bar in Minneapolis, and it was me and the Road Warriors and Rick Rude. We were all in the same bar, and one of the bartenders was Eddie Sharkey, and he used to watch us throw guys out the front door all day long. He says, "I got to get you guys into wrestling." So he ended up starting a camp, and we all started with Eddie Sharkey, and then we all got in the business from there. So, yeah.
So we sort of backed into it.
Yeah, and Kurt Hennig, I was very good friends with Kurt, and his dad wrestled, so it was always in all of our minds that we'd love to get into wrestling, but there's no way. And that was just the start of how we could get in. So that was pretty neat.
Right place, right time.
Right place, right time.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I wasn't working at the bar, I would never got into wrestling.
yeah.
So you all wrestled as heels most of the time. Did you ever get so much heat that you ever had audience members try to hurt you?
Oh, I got
shoot,
stabbed.
yeah.
I got stabbed a couple times.
Yeah.
I
I've had
was
people-
working against Blackjack Mulligan in Richmond. And was beating the crap out of him. And a guy jumped past the police over the railing, came in the ring, stabbed me right in the side, ran out the other side, and immediately 5 or 6 police officers, because they prided themselves in Richmond, nobody's going to get hurt. They beat that living kid. There wasn't much left of him. And I get stitched up, and the guys are all mad at me because we're in a private plane, and I'm in the hospital. So instead of taking off right after the matches, they have to wait 4 or 5 hours for me to get stitched up. Then we fly home, and they're all pissed off because I had to make them late.
Because you get stabbed.
I got stabbed. Yeah, it's.
I had quite a few incidences. I had one in Asheville, North Carolina. I had Ricky Morton down in a front face lock or something, and a rear chin lock it was. And he looks up at me and he goes, "Crush." He says, "Don't look, but there's a guy pointing a gun right at your head right now, in about the 10th row." I said, "You got to be kidding me." I look up and there's a guy just like this. So I ended up letting him make a little comeback on me, and then I scooted out of the ring, and then the cops came and arrested the guy. And I don't know how many times the tires were slashed and
Geez.
windshield shattered, and
Yeah.
riots starting where they almost tried to kill you. I mean, it was bad stuff way back in the day.
I was in Nova Scotia, worked a program with Dino Bravo. And I go out. I had a brand new van at the time. Windshields smashed in, back windows smashed in, all 4 tires are sliced. So the guy gave me a ride to the hotel. I called the next day. I called my insurance man. He said, "Okay, what happened?" 3 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row. And I had moved the car all over the place, different places. So he says, "I got it. Don't worry about it. Just send me the bill."
I was in Oklahoma City, and me and Nikolai Volkov, and we were big heels down there. And I had a feud going with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So we landed at the airport, and we got this taxi cab, and I said, "I'd like you to come to the building and stay for the whole show, but when we come running out of the ring, you make sure and you leave as fast as we can." So we had all our stuff in the car ready to go, and we were the main event that night. And all of a sudden, at the end of the show, I hit Duggan, and Nikolai came in, and I mean, we just put the boots on, blood everywhere. And a fan gave the cop a chair, and the guy threw the chair into Duggan. Well, I grabbed the chair and I started hitting Duggan with it. Pretty soon the fans about killed the cop. Anyways, the whole place was coming down, down to the ring. And I looked at Nikolai. I said, "Nikolai, we got to get out of here now, or we're not going to get out of there." So we took off, and everybody's trying to help Duggan and the cop and everything. And and it was an underground parking. So the cab's watching this match, and he's like, "This is the greatest thing ever," right? And I said, "Go, we got to go now." And the cab's going, "Oh yeah," laughing. And I said, "No, you don't get it. We got to go now, or we're going to get killed." And the guy's like, serious? I said, yeah, that's why we got all this stuff in the car. We take off. By that time, they were all, you had to go up this ramp to get out of the building. By that time, all the fans were by that ramp. They completely totaled that taxi cab. I mean, windows shattered, dents all over the whole thing and everything.
Yeah.
And I said, got it, get out. You know, there's people in the road. I said, who cares? Run them over. I'm swearing, we'll die right here, you know. So he gets out of there, he gets us to the airport, and me and Nikolai get out of the car. And this car was, it was like a movie, you know, that's how bad it was. And we get out and the guy goes, you have to pay for my taxi. And I said, no, I told you we needed to get out of there and you had to sit there. And that happened all the time, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was bad when you were the bad guy. But it was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You don't think how dangerous it is when you're doing it, because you get that control over the fans, the emotions.
But you and
And you
I,
think about it back later, you see, whew,
well, him and I, we used to ride out of Madison Square Gardens in an ambulance.
yeah.
They'd put us in one of those big box ambulances and drive out the door so they wouldn't get us.
Yeah.
Oh. Didn't they tip over Andre one night?
I want to recollect,
They
yeah.
tipped over the car or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they'd have an ambulance parked back there. As soon as your match is over, you jump in the
Then-
ambulance,
then
turn the
later-
sirens on, you know, nobody
Later on, the
would think you're in the
fans,
back.
somebody told him after a number of trips, and then all of a sudden they're egging and stoning the ambulance, you know.
What about managers? You all worked with a few different managers over your years.
Yeah.
Any
Bobby
favorites?
Heenan was good. Fuji was probably fit us the best.
Oh,
Fuji was good.
You know, Valiant was good, but he was too comical. It just didn't. You know, we're there kicking people to the crap, and he's doing his interview, and it's coming out of left field someplace. Where Fuji was sinister and devious and it fit us.
Bobby Heenan was one of the best managers
Yeah.
there was.
Yeah.
He was good. And they were all good, but he was
Yeah.
extra special.
And Jimmy Hart's good. Jimmy had a lot of good talent.
Now Fuji was known as a ripper, so did he ever play any pranks on you guys, or no?
I think he enjoyed being with us. Figured if he ripped us, he wasn't going to be with us anymore. Because we asked for Fuji. You know, we asked to have him as our manager. I think he appreciated that.
I don't think he gets the credit that you see with Heenan and Hart and those guys. He doesn't seem to get as much credit, but he's had quite a stable of guys too.
Right.
Oh yeah, and Fuji would be critical, but it was constructive critical. Because we always ask him, how'd you like this or what we do? He'd say, eliminate that, don't do that, do more of that. That was okay. I think that'll work out. Where some of the guys, the only one did. A lot of the managers, and you guys know that, they want to focus on them. There's a match going on, and they're running around doing this and doing that, and people are all looking at them. Fuji was never like that, which led to the point when Fuji actually did something. People said, he was planning that the whole time. He did that on purpose.
Jimmy Hart was good though with his gimmick, his promos
Yeah.
and everything, and he really helped, I think, the look of the Hart Foundation, and he was the one that helped write the song, the Demolition song.
Yeah.
So, every manager has something they're really
Yeah.
good at, and Jimmy's a good guy.
Jimmy did a good job.
Yeah, he did a great job.
And he never really tried to steal the limelight.
No.
Uh,
But when it was on him, he really did it.
Yeah.
Good job.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not an easy job either, being a manager. Especially like Fuji just had us. Jimmy had 4 or 5 different guys, so he had to be with Beefcake, and he had to be with Valentine. You had to be with 4 or 5
Honky
different
Tonk
people.
and-
Yeah. Well, the thing would be difficult.
That's bad.
now, all the traveling.
Yeah.
When we were doing it, you don't mind it. But we enjoy just picking when we want to go, like picking to come here, They're gonna go next week, and then, how about 2 weeks? I don't wanna do that, and then we'll take now we get to do what we wanna do. It's fun. And we get to meet nice people and chat with people and see the guys once in a while. A lot different than where you were literally sitting in the TV tapings and they give you 35 tickets.
Stack like this, a plane
Yeah.
ticket. Oh.
They did that to, who was the guy from Oregon?
Billy Jack.
Billy. We're sitting at a table, cafeteria, in between the tapings and the interviews, and the people from the office come in and they boom, boom, boom.
Sign for this.
And you got 45 tickets in front of you. And Billy Jack says, "What are these for?" He says, "That's your next 45 days." So Barry and I would take, he'd take it, okay, we're in Houston, he'd call for the hotel, and I'd call for the rental car, Fuji'd call for the restaurant.
Yeah. But that was
But if you're by-
45 nights.
But if you're by yourself, that's a daunting task.
Was there ever a feud or an angle or someone that you wanted to work with that you just didn't get the chance to, or it didn't materialize? Was there someone kind of like out there that got away? Or
I don't think so.
you guys really got to?
Yeah, I think we were at the point, of, if we probably really wanted to work with somebody, they would have made arrangements to do it.
I think it was kind of the other way around. Everybody wanted to work with
Yeah.
us at that time because we were the champions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they all knew that, you got a pay slot on the scale. And they were all gonna make more money working with us. The top guy, of course, was Hogan, and right under that's the tag team champs. And if you're working with them or Hogan, you're gonna make good money. We never had any, I don't think we had any problems with anybody except the Rougeaus. One Rougeau. And we didn't have problems with him.
No, we didn't have a problem. We were lucky to be there at that time too. It was a good time for tag teams.
Oh, man.
You know,
They'd have 2 or 3 tag teams on a card. And you run it 3 times a night. So, they had a lot of talent. They had as much talent number-wise as they've had recently and seemed to do okay with it.